Hey guys, welcome back to the Sim Twins. My name is Brooke and today we are doing another speed build. But before we get too far into that video, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you know every time that we post a new video. We are now posting only on Tuesdays, Thursdays, so I hope you understand that. But today I decided that I wanted to build a midnight diner, which is actually based off of a diner in North Carolina that has that exact same name, and it's just such a cute retro 50s diner. And I recently got Dine Out, so I was so excited to see everything in that pack and to create this really fun build for you all, because for me, diners just scream summertime and eating with the family at a restaurant like this, just like going in and getting all the kinds of food that you would get at a diner, mac and cheese and sandwiches and just all that delicious American food that you think of when you think of like Americana. And so I really wanted to try and pay homage to that, and I used a lot of things that kind of made the build look very retro, and I used red as an accent color, and I just wanted to make this build so fun because I just think that diners are really fun. And so it took me a while actually to figure out how I wanted the front to look, because the front of the diner was very important to me, and the build overall I wanted it to have that diner feel. So really, diners are basically just like boxes. But the thing that I always think about that stands out to me when I think about diners is the fact that they're like very like chroma, and they have rounded rooftops. So I tried to do that in my build, and I thought that it was actually really fun to use those triangular windows that came with Eco Lifestyle. And I haven't really used them much in a build, but I thought that they looked really, really good on this build. And with that red trim that matches the red trim that I added to those little half walls on the top of the roof, I thought it just looked really good together. And I used this rusted kind of metal because there's not really something in The Sims that looks like, it's like chrome siding. So I used this rusted aluminum-esque siding that came with Eco Lifestyle, which I thought fit well enough, because I tried the container one, but the container one just didn't fit my vibe that I wanted to go with. And so I ended up going with that. But inside, as you can see, I had to put down lights because it was so hard to see anything because it was really dark. And figuring out what I wanted to do for the color scheme on the inside was super hard, because I wanted to make sure that there was checkerboard pattern. And checkerboard pattern, in my opinion, is just very strong, and it's very hard to get it to match. And when I had checkerboard on the walls and on the floors, I just was like, oh my gosh, my eyes are bleeding. So I had to tone it down on the walls just so it wasn't so crazy that everybody was screaming at me, being all like, Brooke, why did you go with such crazy colors, because they clash so much. And so I ended up not doing that. But here I tried to create this feature on this back wall, because this back wall and the back part is where the kitchen area is. Also, the bathrooms are over here on this side as well. And so a lot of times when you go into diners, they have open kitchens, and they have spots in their kitchens where you can see right into the kitchen area, and you can see where the people are working and cooking and all of that kinds of stuff. So I tried to do that with a half wall, but in the end I ultimately deleted this half wall feature and the little like brick-esque kind of things I was going, cement columns. I don't know what I was trying to do there. I thought I was trying to make a little bit of a difference, but it was fine. And what I actually learned is that if you use specifically one of the features that comes with Dine Out, the one of the cooking stations, it actually already creates a hole in the wall. So I just ended up being all like, well, I wasted like 30 minutes trying to figure out how to get that to work, when it automatically works if you put in the very specific Dine Out feature cooking place. And so on the back side, of course, I had to add in an extra door, because every restaurant has to have a back door for safety, and also so that the people in the kitchen can come in and come out without going directly through the front of the restaurant. And so that is why I decided to do that. But figuring out that door placement was also just really, really hard. Y'all, figuring out the doors in this situation was hard for me, and I think it was because of the fact that I really wanted to give this feel a very retro vibe, and I needed to figure out how I was going to do that. And I actually really love the little foyer area, and it has these cute red couches that came with tiny living. And then here I am again playing around figuring out that, oh, if you just have that wall there, it'll just automatically cut out the wall. And again, I'm trying to make those cement columns work, and I ultimately decided to delete the cement columns because they just weren't fitting the vibe that I wanted to go with. And I also put in 2 huge dishwashers in here, so hopefully if you are running this as your restaurant, you have enough space to do all of your stuff. And I did put in refrigerators, although I don't actually think that refrigerators are a part of what you have to have within a kitchen in The Sims 4, which is interesting because I feel like it should be a requirement for restaurants, but it's not. But I put those in anyway because I thought it was important to have a little place for your Sims to put their cold stuff, obviously. And so what I did was I created a very classic layout for this diner because I wanted it to be very classically laid out. And so I went with this island, and I used this chroma island, but in the orange swatch. I've never used it in that orange swatch, but I actually really liked how it turned out because you sit at the bar and you can watch them cook your food and you can talk with the wait staff and everything like that. And I used the pictures from Dine Out. I used a bunch of stuff from Dine Out in this pack, obviously, just because of the fact that it fit my color scheme so well and it fit the theme of the restaurant overall. And I actually used windows from Discover University, and I thought that they looked really nice. And because I made the wall height the medium wall height instead of the small wall height, it made it so that the windows don't have to sit at the very bottom of the wall, and I really liked that. But I really liked the pictures that came with Dine Out. Loved the breakfast photos and this little collage stuff, especially the ones that had the pictures of the people in black and white. I thought that was really awesome. And so I just really wanted to give this diner a really retro vibe, and when you come into this place you just feel like you've been here before because in my opinion a lot of the diners all look very similar. And I put in these pinnets for the Discover universities, Foxbury and Brightchester, because a lot of times when I think about diners, they're in college towns and they like really are all about supporting their teams. So I put a section so you can sit on that one side and be like, yeah, I'm Foxbury, and you can sit on the other side and you can be like, no, I'm Brightchester. And I just really liked that because I thought that was a really fun little homage to a lot of the places that I have been where they do like to support their hometown teams. And I used these booths from Dine Out. I thought they were just really great, and they're actually called like retro booths or whatever, so it totally fit, and I just really liked them. I wanted them in pink because I wanted the interior to kind of have that pinkish color, but I ended up having to go with the white swatch, which was fine because there was a red swatch, but it was really dark and I didn't like that. And of course I added in some tables that are just 4-seaters where you don't have to sit in the booth because, you know, there are going to be some people who don't like booths, which I always like sitting at booths. I have no problem with sitting at booths at restaurants. But I realized over in this place where I put a little water pitcher and some sparkling water that I should have actually put in a coffee maker because there is no coffee maker in this build. But in my eyes, like a diner, the classic diner scene is to go to the bar and to ask for just a black cup of coffee. And I didn't add one in, so I will add one in before I put this up on our gallery. But as always, you can download this off of our gallery. Our gallery ID is the Sim Twins 14, and I would so love if you downloaded it and played it with your Sims and brought them here to have a meal, because I just think it's like a super cute place for them to come and enjoy a meal. And I used the diner menu So it's going to have all of your diner favorites, grilled cheeses, hamburgers, like all of that kind of stuff, rather than, I know there's a lot of crazy things you can also have your Sims eat that are very like experimental food. But I was like, this is a diner. We don't need weird experimental food in a diner. So I just added in just the classic diner menu. And on the outside, I spent a lot of time actually trying to make the outside look kind of industrial, I would say, because I wanted to add in a very big parking lot in the back. And I really loved how the parking lot came out. I thought it looked really good because, you know, when you come to a diner, of course you need a place to park, because a lot of times, in my opinion, diners are usually like in a place that is very accessible to people. And so having a big lot to park your car is very important. But I also wanted it to be in a place where you could feel like you could walk to it. So I added in a lot of walking area in the front and that kinds of stuff. And I think it's in the area in Newcrest where there's actually that little animation that has the streetcar come by it. So it would totally make sense, like if your Sims came to this by streetcar, not only just by driving. And I really liked that I got to use the new eco lifestyle huge bins outside, because that just made the build feel so lifelike to have those huge trash cans outside, those trash bins. And I used a lot of debug plants, because debug plants just look so much better than the plants that you can buy just in the catalog itself. And I just really wanted this place to feel like very nice and very welcoming, and plants just make me feel so welcome to an area. And it just also helped to break up the harshness of the fact that there was a lot of concrete and there was a lot of brick in this build. I wanted to give some greenery. But I went through the debug catalog first to get a bunch of different cars, and some of the cars are like really fancy and some of them are a little more worn down, which I kind of liked that contrast. I wanted it to be a little different, so all the cars didn't look very brand new, and some of them did, but some of them did not, and I really liked that. And to make these parking spots, I just used the get to work fence, which is really short and it's white. And so I really liked how that turned out, because it really did look like these were parking spots. And so I just added in all the cars in the parking spots, and I just thought it looked so good, because it looked like there were a bunch of people who were here enjoying their meal, or they were the workers who came in and they parked their cars. I just really loved how it made this build feel very authentic to have that parking lot. But we are getting close to the end of the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I loved making this build for you all. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what other builds you would like me to do. But I just had such a fun time with this, and I hope you all download it and put it into your game. I'll see you again. Bye, y'all.